Today I've got a USB microphone from a company who is not known for making USB microphones. This is the Cherry UM 9.0 Pro RGB USB microphone. And while that might be a mouthful, I'm really interested to see what this mic's all about, so let's get into it. In the box you get a microphone which is pre-attached to the shock mount, which is also pre-attached to a desk stand, a USB-A to USB-C cable, which feels really good. The rubber feel around the plugs is really nice, and the instructions. Now on the microphone itself, on the front, all you're going to find is the knob. It's a very thin plastic knob, but all in all is in there pretty sturdy. It's not too bad. It does click in, but it's not actually for the mute. We'll get into what that's for in a minute. On the back is your headphone volume, and this is a much nicer feel. It's rubber coated and it moves very smoothly. On the bottom of the mic, you're going to find the USB-C port as well as the headphone jack and a button to control the RGB. And then you have a couple of points here on the stand. So where it joins the shock mount, that's actually a pivot point, so you can rotate it up and down. And where this comma shaped thing actually meets the three-legged stand, that unscrews, and that's actually where you're supposed to connect your mic arm. It's one of those stranger sizes though, and it doesn't come with an adapter, so I think I might have one around here. We'll have to take a look. But essentially this is how your microphone is supposed to attach to the mic arm. It's a really awkward way of doing it. I can't really think of a nice way that it's going to sit on the arm for me to be able to have it up nice. I think the arm's going to be doing a lot of the work on this one. And the other thing that's weird about this is right here there's another thing that unscrews, and it has a standard 1/4 inch thread here, but the thing is I don't know what that's going to be used for, because it doesn't seem to be there to secure the shock mount in any way, but at the same time you're not going to be using that as a different kind of arm mount. But I'm not going to worry about that one so much. Let's get this bad boy up on an arm and see what it can do. Okay, so this is it all set up. I really like this copper color that goes around it. It gives it more of a classic look despite the fact that it's got RGB all over it. It even managed to get up on the arm okay. Now again, like I said, the arm is doing a lot of the work here to make it kind of just stand up nice and be alright, but it looks fine. It looks nice. The color is nice on screen. But the one disappointment I have in the mic itself is that it's made of a very light, almost exclusively plastic all over the place, and that's not always great for a mic capsule. So I'll have to hear what it sounds like when I go back and listen to this. So to take you through a few of the features here, there's a capacitive mute up top, so all I have to do is... and then we're back to normal. I like when it lights up like that when it's muted so that everybody can tell and you're very, very aware that you've muted. And you may or may not have noticed a lot of room noise right now over top of the music even potentially. I don't know, I guess we'll have to see when I edit the video. But that's because of these other lights here. Right now we're listening to an omnidirectional microphone, so we're listening that way. We're listening basically all these ways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to a cardioid. And that's this, and now it's just facing me, and while the room noise hasn't gone away completely, because again it's a condenser microphone, it has gotten a whole heck of a lot better because it's not picking up things going this way, it's not picking up things going that way, and this is a real sticking point with me with a lot of microphones. They put in this function because the condensers have the ability to do it. Very few people are using a single microphone to conduct interviews or do things where you have people talking from all directions. Podcasters are using individual microphones for individual people. I just find that the audience is probably a little too limited to need this, so let's just maybe get rid of it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Cherry because they did this. I'm knocking microphones in general just because it's still happening. And another thing we can do with the microphone, if we just reach underneath here, we'll find the button that can change the RGB. And so there's a nice green and a nice blue and a different blue and a pink and a, I don't know, is that supposed to be red or just another pink? I don't know. I really like that. It's showing up a little bright on the screen right now, but it's a very brilliant, like somebody put a light inside of a Prime drink or something like that. It looks nice. But what we're going to do now is the same thing we do with all of our microphones, is we're going to do those test phrases and we're going to hear how this thing sounds in its raw form. The small pup not a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Pressed the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. Alright, I'm going to go back and have a listen to this, and then we're going to get right back to you. Okay, so I've given it a listen, and it actually sounds a lot better than I would have expected, given the really light capsule and things like that. And while the microphone itself isn't a game changer out of the box, it's a really quality plug-and-play microphone. I mean, there's no software or anything like that. So the microphone is really just left to rest on its own laurels. And its laurels, if I'm using the word correctly, are pretty good. But now let's see what we can do about maybe enriching my voice just a little bit more and getting rid of the room noise that was very present in the raw audio. So we're going to do the same thing that we always do. We're going to apply some VSTs both in OBS and in DaVinci Resolve. When I recorded my original test, I had a second track going with all of those filters applied. So you've heard the raw. Now let's hear what it sounds like when we mess around with the VSTs a little bit. The small pup not a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Pressed the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. The small pup gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Pressed the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. The small pup gnawed a hole in the sock. The fish twisted and turned on the bent hook. Pressed the pants and sew a button on the vest. The swan dive was far short of perfect. The beauty of the view stunned the young boy. And we have all but removed the room noise. I probably could have tweaked my voice a little bit more and maybe just added a little bit more bass or something like that. I don't know, this was just kind of proof of concept. I wasn't trying to actually fine-tune this thing right now. If you spend the time to do that, you'll definitely get this thing where you want it to be with your voice. Alright, but now let's get into the price, and this is where it gets a little weird and dicey because on their website it's $149, which to me is a little bit on the high end for this microphone, just given its build quality and things like that. I think it could come down quite a bit. But then you go on Amazon and you find the exact same microphone for $119. And I think if you can get the microphone for $119, which apparently you can, it's a much better value for this microphone. I think that the $149, I wouldn't pay that for this, just given the fact that it doesn't have any kind of accompanying software. Again, we've talked about some pretty great microphones that come with amazing software that don't just improve the quality of the actual sound of the microphone itself, but then it just adds so much more. Thinking about things like Wavelink and Beacon Mix and Unify, things like that. And I know what you're thinking, well, those mics are more expensive. That's how you get the really big software, and the answer is no to that. So when it comes to the dynamic mics, that's technically right because they're a little bit more expensive, but when it comes to the condensers, the Rode XCM50 and the Elgato Wave 3 are the exact same price as this microphone, and both have a lot better build quality in this man's opinion. So if you're a person who likes this neoclassic look that this gives you, and you can find it on a bit of a sale, then I would recommend it. Aside from that, wait for the sale. So first on quality, I'm gonna give it a solid A-, to be honest with you. I think that I probably would have given it a B+, if not for the fact that I was so surprised of its audio quality given its build quality. And then in terms of value, I'm gonna give it about a C+, because yeah, it comes with a stand, but I'm constantly telling people to not use desk stands anyways. And then what you have left over connects kind of weird to your mic arm. The fact that it doesn't come with the proper adapter to actually hook up to most mic arms, and then the lack of any kind of a real software solution because I mean, Cherry has software out there. I mean, this is probably doable. But I give a lot of credit to a company that's not known for making microphones for actually making a microphone that sounds good. But enough about me. What did you think about the microphone? Let me know down in the comments. And while we're on the set of a company that doesn't really make microphones as their main thing, why don't you check these videos out that are also from companies that weren't known for making microphones for streamers until they did. If you made it this far, make sure to hit like and subscribe, everybody. And until next time, let's get to work.